All right. So hello, everyone. Today we'll be exploring engineering from the student perspective. So you've heard all the nice things our presenters had to say about UBC engineering. Let's see what current students have to say. My name is Kenneth. I'm a final year chemical and biological engineering student at the UBC Vancouver campus. Now, while I am a current student, I work with the recruitment team. So to avoid any bias, we have gotten some students from the UBC Vancouver and Okanagan campuses to tell us about their experiences. So I'll just get them to introduce themselves, and students can tell us the names they go by, their program, their year level, and we'll get right into it afterwards.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Unmanned. I am a third-year mechatronics engineering student here at the UBC Vancouver campus. I'm very excited to speak to all of you.
All right, thank you, Aman. How about we go with Shola next?
Hi guys, I'm Shola, she, her pronouns. I'm in my last year of mechanical engineering at UBCO, and I'm super excited to talk to you all today.
And then Sajida.
Hi everyone, my name is Sajida. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm currently in my third year of integrated engineering in the Faculty of Applied Science at UBC Vancouver. Excited for this panel.
And last, but I guess, last week.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Matt. I'm in my fourth year of civil engineering with a year of co-op mixed in there. So I guess third year of studies, but on the Okanagan campus.
So thank you so much, everyone, for introducing yourselves and letting everyone know who we are. I think Matt just mentioned towards the end of his introduction about the co-op program. And that's one of the first things we're actually going to talk about. So co-op allows students to gain up to 20 months of paid work experience as part of their degrees. So it is optional and students can apply into co-op in their second or third year. Typically, work terms are 4 months in length, and you can work at different companies within different industries related to your fields, and you can explore what types of jobs you want to have when you graduate. So I know Matt already touched on it, but I think I want to direct this question to Aman, which is, Aman, I think you explained to me earlier that how you're part of the core program, and I'm just wondering how you would describe your experience within the program so far. How long have you been on it? What kind of companies have you had the opportunity to work with? Maybe your most memorable co-op experience so far.
Sure. So I joined the co-op program last October, and I'm currently on co-op as we speak. I'm not studying right now. I'm working at Triumph Labs here in Vancouver. And my experience with the co-op program so far has been great. I came into this program last October not knowing what a cover letter was, not knowing how to write a resume or apply for a job. But the support I received from my designated co-op advisors and all the other people at the office was just amazing. They provided me with a lot of guides I could use to get started. And they also provided me with amazing one-on-one mentorship as I was going through the job search process over the past few months. It did take a lot of applications. It took me, I wouldn't like to say how many, it took me many applications to secure my first job. But the co-op office both provided me with a lot of postings through the PD portal, which I wouldn't have been able to otherwise find on my own. And they also taught me how to network, how to write good application packages, and mentored me through every step of the application process, just making it less daunting for me. That helped me secure my current co-op placement at Triumph Labs, which is basically a particle accelerator facility here in Vancouver. You can call it the CERN of Canada without being fancy. I'm working as a mechanical test and assembly designer there right now, and it's been amazing. I've got to learn so much. I've got to work hands-on and apply the concepts I've learned in school, which has been absolutely amazing. But it all just comes back to the co-op office helping me through every step of that job search process, from identifying a job to making myself well-suited for it, to actually portraying that I'm a good candidate for it and going through. And they still continue to support me if I have any problems during the work term. So it's been absolutely amazing.
Oh, thank you so much, Aman, for sharing. So I hope people can see that basically the core program allows you to realize your dreams.
It does allow you to explore all your different interests.
Yeah, thank you so much, Aman. I think even I went on co-op as well. I didn't want to mention it, but I guess maybe now we're talking about it. I'm too tempted not to talk about it. But I went on co-op as well, and it made me like increase my exposure to many things, many different fields and so on. So I'm just wondering, and I'll give this to Matt, have any of your co-op terms made you consider a different career path, or has it reinforced your decision for a certain career path that you're already interested in?
Totally. I actually really like that question because like I had kind of a complete change of where I thought that I wanted to go because of co-op. So I did a year. I did my full year of co-op all in one set, 12 months with PCL Construction. They're the largest general contractor in Canada. They are responsible for about like $8 to $10 billion worth of work a year. So I spent a little bit of it in the civil department, which was like, I guess 8 months in that department doing more office-based tasks. So like estimating, I did a lot of business development, which was a lot of fun. And then I spent 4 months on a job site, on a $500 million job site in downtown Vancouver, which is pretty cool. But I kind of realized that construction is kind of where I can see myself in a couple of years rather than the engineering side of things. And then in addition to that, like I had a lot of fun doing business development. I wrote a big report on like how we can expand our presence in interior BC as a company. And as a result of that, we've now opened up kind of like an interior civil office, which I will have a position at next summer. So I kind of made myself a position, I guess, here in Kelowna. But I think that I can definitely see myself now moving more into the business side of construction rather than just doing engineering, which is something that I never would have anticipated before going into co-op. So I like the question. Thank you.
No, Matt, this is a great answer. Today we've already talked about particle accelerators. Now we're talking about construction, or even talking about the business in construction. And while you were talking, Matt, I think I heard about how, co-op has, changed your like interest and so on. But more than anything, I was just hearing a lot about money. I heard some big dollar signs in there, and that caught my attention instantly. And I think maybe all the people who've been on co-op would know this. And it's like, you go on co-op, and then for some people, you begin to earn like, maybe what is your biggest paycheck? But a lot of other things are also different, like in the co-op life compared to, let's say, being a student. I'm just wondering, Shola, why don't you tell us a bit about how it differed while you were on co-op compared to your everyday student life?
Yeah, mine was kind of significant for change for me because my first co-op experience was 4 months in West Africa in Ghana with a tech startup. So completely different than anything I'd ever experienced in school, and even just culturally really different. So I was really appreciative. I actually did my co-op through our Engineers Without Borders Club at UBCO and was supported by UBC. So it didn't cost me any money to go and live overseas. And it was such a fantastic opportunity to travel. And also on that note of figuring out what you want to do, it also helps you figure out what you don't want to do, because I was working with a lot of coding and something that it was really great to get a hands-on experience with, but also made me realize that's not what I want to do. So it was great. I kind of checked that off as maybe I want to look in a different direction. So that was great.
Thank you so much, Ola, for sharing. You see, that was I don't think I could have anticipated what you were just about to say.
Yeah. It's
UBC,
co-op's awesome for getting a lot of different experiences.
And you got to travel like for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And that's all like part of the things students can maybe get a chance to do if they join the co-op program. So hopefully, our talk on this co-op program, it may have piqued some people's interests. And if people are wondering how they can get into the UBC co-op program, entry requirements, the kind of support you get to apply to jobs like Unmanned talked about, the support you get while you're in the job as well. And if that's the case, we encourage you to speak to our co-op advisors at the co-op booth from 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. We also encourage you to consider joining a design team when you arrive at UBC. We already talked a bit about Engineers Without Borders, and look at where that stands, Shola. But design teams, in case I'll just talk a bit about it. And design teams, essentially, they're a great way to gain hands-on experience and show employers that you can work in teams to develop tangible solutions for real-life problems. Now, we already discussed about design teams today during our Why Engineering session, but for the people who could not attend, UBC Vancouver has over 30 design teams, ranging from Formula One teams to biomedical engineering teams to sustainability teams, and students can join in as early as their first year. many of these teams will compete internationally, and a lot of these teams do very well, as they have beaten like their peers from other reputable universities. Not to name drop, but Harvard, University of California, Berkeley. There's many more. Now, the UBC Okanagan campuses, there are also like design teams, but there are fewer, but there's just as many opportunities to get similar hands-on experience outside of the classroom in a subject area that hopefully you're most interested in, or you find out that maybe this is not for you. So to begin with, why don't we just very quickly, very briefly, why don't you tell us a design team you've worked on, just very quickly, and I'll just go around the panel let's start with Armand to begin with.
Sure. So I've actually been on 2 design teams so far. In my first year here at UBC, I was at UBC Solar. That team is building a life-size solar car that can fit a person who's 6 feet tall, and it runs completely on solar power. And it's currently in development, but ideally it should be able to go up to about 100 kilometers, no problem, just based purely on solar power, which is truly mind-blowing. And now more recently, I am on the same team as Sajida, actually. I'm on the Unmanned aircraft system team, which I just joined this year. And they're building self-flying drones, which is absolutely as cool as it sounds.
Thank you, Armand. So even shorter than Armand's intro, why don't we get Shola to give an intro as well? Have you worked on a design team?
Oh my gosh, my favorite thing about school is the design teams. I'm on the UBC Okanagan concrete toboggan team. So it's as weird as it sounds. We build a metal framed toboggan that holds 5 students with brake design, with steering design, and then we have concrete skis. So there's a lot of interdisciplinary collaboration, and then there's 500 students across Canada that bring their toboggans from all the different engineering schools to compete and send them down the hill. And if I'm going to add, UBC's Okanagan's toboggan went down the hill last year, and Vancouver didn't quite make it down, so there's a little bit of rivalry. Yeah, and that's my favorite club.
All right, thank you, Shola. And Sajida, I know you're already working with Armand, but please, can we hear it from your perspective as well?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna up Armand's number and say that I've actually worked with 3 different design teams at UBC Vancouver. So the first is what Armand mentioned, UBC Unmanned aircraft systems. So we've developed drones that can fly by themselves and deliver medical packages or other packages. That's been a really cool experience. And I've also on UBC Rocket, where we're building a liquid fuel full-size rocket to launch 100 kilometers into space and land back on Earth safely. And my last club is UBC Biomedical Engineering Student Team. And currently we're working with a client, helping her make her wheelchair more accessible for putting on jackets in Vancouver's rainy season and the cold weather. And that's been really cool because we're actually solving a real life problem.
Wow, that was just amazing. Thank you, Sajida. And then can we have Matt as well?
Yeah, totally. So I think I'm the odd person out. I actually haven't been involved in any design teams through my degree, but I will speak to a buddy of mine. I have a friend who's been like highly involved in the motorsports club here at UBCO, where they essentially build like a race car and then race it against a bunch of other students from across Canada. So he was working on composites on it in second year. He was like the composite lead, where he like designed like the body, like the fiberglass that it was made out of. And then he used that experience to get this like dream job building mountain bikes as a co-op in Kamloops, BC. So it's definitely a great opportunity for students.
Thank you for sharing, Matt. And as you can see, the panel very diverse experiences. Matt is here. Like he maybe didn't do design teams, but hey, he's talking about lots of money in construction. Okay. But I know a bit about Armand's story a bit. Like I know, okay, well, not just Armand, but I know everyone's story. And I think Armand talked about, like when I was chatting with him earlier, he mentioned how, Solar, UBC UAV. But it was also about mentoring like new students coming into the design teams and so on. And I'm just curious, Armand, from your perspective, having been in these teams, why do you think, someone coming to UBC should join one?
So coming into my first year at UBC, I didn't feel like an engineer. I did not feel like an engineering student. I was just a guy who knew math. I go into this design team, I join UBC Solar, and I expect to be given low-level tasks because I don't know much, and everyone else on the team is so knowledgeable. They're third and fourth year students with, amazing technical skills and knowledge. But what surprised me and what really amazed me about UBC, Solar, and the other design teams for that matter, I'm sure it's true as well, is everyone is so willing to teach. All the upper year students, my team leads, my team captains, they were always looking to get me involved and teach me new skills. They took time out of their busy schedules every week just to help me or guide me through various aspects of a project and teach me SolidWorks, teach me programming, whatever was necessary for the project. And that really helped me feel like I was a part of the team, not just someone who was showing up every week. And that was invaluable for me because I started to actually feel more like an engineering student. I felt like someone who was part of something bigger and not just, just lost for that matter. And that kind of mentor-student relationship with someone who's only 2 years ahead of you is amazing because they also helped me a lot outside class. Like they were helping me on the design team, and that's fine. But they helped me with my second year placement selection. They guided me through the co-op process and gave me a lot of information I wouldn't have had access to otherwise. So besides just being teammates on my design team, they became like mentors to me almost towards the end of the year. And that to me was truly amazing.
Thank you, Aman, for sharing. I think that's such a great story about how you can come into engineering, but until you really apply those things, maybe you may not feel like you're very engineering. So I think design teams are a great way to get out there and put your skills into practice. I know Sajida has been so patient waiting on me. Sajida, so I'm just curious, your position in the design team, are you like a captain?
I'm kind of like an admin member, so we kind of do like executive things and kind of organize the whole situation alongside my technical role as an aircraft designer.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because I'm so curious about how maybe like your experience across 3 design teams.
Yeah, for sure. I can kind of speak to that.
So in particular, I'm curious about what your experience across those design teams has, taught you about yourself, like your working style, the kinds of people you like to work with, if you have any specifics on that, the careers you're interested in exploring. I know you mentioned you're on co-op right now as well. And did the design team have anything to do with that? Like the company you decided to apply to? Yeah, I'm just curious about maybe what the co-op design team has told you about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So I would say in my second year, which was this past year, I was really involved with the Unmanned Aircraft Systems team. And similar to Aman, got that mentorship from the people around me. And the reason I joined this drone team, I really want to go into biomedical engineering, but the reason I joined this drone team was because I thought it was really interesting that drone development can be put into any type of industry. It can help the medical field with like that medical package delivery with like remote areas, but it can also help with like expanding horizons, like going above the clouds type of thing. So I was really interested in that. And I definitely think my experience on design teams helped me get my co-op position at Biomedical. So currently I'm working as an electromechanical test engineer at Verathon, and we build medical devices for use all around the world, actually. And during the interview process and the resume and the cover letter process, it was really helpful for me to be able to refer to things that I've done on design teams. So on the Unmanned Systems team, I helped design the electric feed controllers on the drone. And I could talk about the electric system within the drone and how it worked together and how I could actually have it fly. And the employers are really interested in how passionate you are about the work you are doing. And it doesn't really matter what field you're doing that work in, as long as you can explain it really well. And I think that's been really helpful for me to just have a toolkit in the back of my pocket, just being able to talk about all the experiences that I've been a part of. And then just talking about the biomedical student team that I joined recently, it's been nice to apply this stuff that I've learned in co-op back to my design team. So now we're helping a client in the real world, and I'm able to see like the things that I've learned on co-op, like the working with Arduinos or working with other things, and being able to apply that back to real world situations has been really cool. So it's a really big cycle: design team to co-op, back to design team, back to school. Everything just works together and really helps you out.
Oh, this was beautiful, Sajida. It's basically like this loop of iteration that we just keep going. Like you learn in class, you learn in a student design team. So it's like low stakes, but you're still like putting a lot out there. And then you actually go into the real world where what you do actually will be put, like someone may be using that, which is amazing. And then you come back to school and in a way you look at your classes differently. So design team, co-op, school, yeah, it's like a, I don't know, it's a kind of
triangle
trilogy.
of engineering.
I think I still have one more question about design teams. So, Shola, you already talked to us about, engineering without borders. I'm curious about your most memorable design team experience. Maybe it's that one, or it could be anyone. Like,
Oh, I have so many. I mean, I think that definitely the concrete toboggan, just the camaraderie that we have like throughout the year with our team, but also especially competition. We have 30 students from UBCO flying last time we went to Toronto. It's so memorable being able to even like ride in something that you built. And but I also think too, some of my best experiences have been through our engineering society on campus. On both our campuses run this program, as well as we do engineering competitions. So there's like a wide variety of different design competitions you can be a part of. Senior design that builds like robots and different things that I was a part of consulting. And so I was actually able to compete and go from our regional competition to the Western competition, all of Western Canada, and then compete nationally. And it was so exciting to be able to present my ideas in front of professionals and network with them. I know I got a job offer out of it as well. There's always like a networking career fair at every one of them. And there's always lots of industry to network with. And so I think that has kind of been my most memorable because it feels like the most significant, one of my most significant accomplishments at UBC Okanagan.
wow. So it's almost like if you want to travel, join a design team.
Yeah, or join a design team, get involved with clubs. I think I've been to over 30 conferences and haven't paid a cent for them through UBC Okanagan's amazing funding programs. I've been all over Canada. I had the opportunity to actually go to Russia until COVID hit. They were going to send me to Russia for a conference. So definitely you can travel tons in the engineering program.
Wow, like I'm even just trying to comprehend all I've just heard today. So it's just a lot about design teams. So honestly, if anything we've said interested anyone that's listening, like building and testing out your engineering abilities to entice co-op employers or real like full-time employers, making unique memories by competing, traveling, make sure to stop by the design team booths to learn more about what is on offer at UBC. From our talk, you would have also realized that design teams are also about working in teams, working in a community. And in a big university like UBC, it definitely helps to have a community where you can go to for support and to let your hair down after a week of midterms. Through the various clubs at UBC, students can explore their interests and meet like-minded people, or alternatively, you get exposed to completely different ways of thinking, of, doing life. UBC has over 400 plus student clubs across both campuses. And that can be overwhelming for some students, but don't worry. When you arrive at UBC, there is an orientation program, and there's even a clubs day where you can meet all the different clubs. In addition to that, many clubs also have a free trial period, so you can get a taste of what the clubs are, all about, while, keeping your wallets or purses tucked nicely away. You don't have to pay a cent. As before, why don't we turn to our students to see if clubs are as good as they're, as hyped up to be? So, of the student clubs that I guess folks may have joined, I'm curious to know, like, which one had the most impact on their university journey. Like, what did you get out of being a member of that club? And I think for this one, I'll direct this back to Sajida.
Yeah, for sure. I've joined many different clubs on campus throughout my 3 years so far. Hard to pick like one memorable experience. I think what I will talk about is in first year, I actually joined the competitive Bollywood dance team. Like basically practiced 10 hours a week, 3 days a week, and really this isn't specifically engineering focused. And I think that really highlights that everything you do at school doesn't need to be just engineering. outside of that, you can join other things. Like if you like pottery, if you like dance, definitely check that out. But for me, I joined UBC Junoon, which is our competitive Bollywood dance team. We prepared an audition video and sent this audition video out to a bunch of different competitions across Canada and North America. And we actually got in the top 8 out of the audition videos in a competition in Texas. And we traveled in March of last year, right before the COVID pandemic, to Texas and competed with our 10-minute dance routine. And we actually brought back the 3rd place trophy, which was super, super exciting. We got to represent Canada and UBC. And I love that experience, not just because I love dance, but also because there were a few engineers on that team, just like me. And we got to get closer through that external experience. And we studied together. We got like homework questions off of each other, and we really collaborated, not just in dance, but also in engineering. So I would really recommend that you go check out clubs that you're interested in, because you might bump into people that won't just be about that club, but also fit into other parts of your life. And I think that's a really great part about just clubs at UBC.
Yeah, so I think this is also a really great example, because I think sometimes people think of engineering students and like, oh, they just study. They just study. They don't do anything fun or something. But yeah, we're talking with Sajida, who is this amazing dancer who's winning competitions. She's traveling, competing internationally. So I mean, what does that say about creativity as an engineer? About having that social life outside of engineering? As you can see, we're pretty cool people, engineers. So at UBC, there's also yes, there are 400 clubs, but how did all these clubs even come into play? It's because people come and then they look for a club as like an interest that they want to explore more about, and then maybe it's not there, but UBC has that support system where they can help you actually to create a new club. And I think this speaks greatly to its motto, TUMES, which explains it is yours. There are all these experiences and opportunities at UBC, and you just have to go out and reach and just take advantage of it. I think Matthew wanted to tell me a bit about about his experience with clubs, and especially with TUMES in that concept of it.
Yeah, definitely. So as you mentioned, TUMES is UBC's motto. It essentially means it is yours, and it just speaks to your degree in general and how you present yourself in school. You're in this school for 4 to 6 years of your life, and it's really up to you to take your degree by the horns and make what you can out of it. But in my experience, I tried to kind of live like that, I guess, a little bit ever since day one. I wasn't super involved in high school, and I was I got to university and I was hey, this is my chance. I'm gonna get involved. So I ran for first year representative of the Engineering Society, which was one of our great student clubs. Unfortunately, didn't get the role, but I actually managed to branch out into all of these crazy opportunities because of the Engineering Society. So for example, I got into Maclean's magazine, which was unreal. That was the first couple of months. I think the person who was most stoked about that, I think, was my grandma back home. And then as well as that, I got to meet a ton of different people. I met Benedict, who's one of our senior students who is now graduated. Shola knows him well, I'm sure. But he got me into this role as a student ambassador, which I'm currently sitting in, which is my work experience on campus. I was with the team for about 3 years. I've had the chance to get flown all over the place because of it. As well as that, I'm now a senior student ambassador, so I kind of run some of the day-to-day activities of the team, and that's kind of been my passion, I guess. And then in addition to that, I mean, I kind of revived the UBC Okanagan Swim Club, which practices twice a week. We're not running right now, unfortunately, because of some COVID regulations, but a little sneak peek, I think we will be in the spring here. But essentially, all of this stuff came just because I decided to step out of my comfort zone a little bit and run for that position on the Engineering Society. All of these unreal opportunities and all of these great connections that I've made since then have all been kind of butterfly effect from that one choice. So I guess in closing of my speech here, just remember, as you go off to school, no matter where it is, your degree is yours, and do what you can with it.
Thank you, Matthew. It is yours. We have Matthew here, a student, an ambassador. We also have what you mentioned about sports as well. I actually joined the sports team myself. So at UBC, I got to explore rowing for the first time, and it was amazing. I got to meet people. I would honestly call them brothers and sisters, because there were female members of that team as well. It's a what's the word? Multi-sex team. There's like women and male teams as part of it. In this final moment of our discussion, I thought, I'd go around the panel and just ask the panelists to provide some advice for students who are looking to come to UBC next year. And I think I'll just limit everyone to let's put it 30 seconds, 1 minute max kind of timing. So yeah, I know it's tight because I'm sure there's a lot of things you want to tell people to do before they come in. I'll just give you the floor. Why don't we begin with Aman?
In my 30 seconds, I will say this. Be excited. If you're going to be coming to UBC, do not be scared. Do not be nervous. Be excited to take the next 4 or 5 years by the horns, as Matt said, and make that degree your own, because UBC will give you every opportunity you can hope for. Be excited for that. Make the most of it and join us.
Thank you. Can we have Shola?
Yeah, I would quickly echo Matt's point that I wasn't super involved in high school, but UBC just like nurtured my leadership abilities and allowed me to explore like so much stuff. It is limitless. You can go down so many different avenues here, and it's really easy to make friends when you join and you get involved in things and you make the most of your degree. And I mean, definitely if you choose UBC Vancouver, UBC Okanagan, they both have limitless opportunities. And yeah, I definitely would be super excited to start your first year. I wish I could start all over again. It's amazing.
Thank you, Shola. And can we have Sajida?
Yeah, for sure. My piece of advice would be to write down your goals and also document your experience. You're going to have such a great time in these 4 or 5 years. Take pictures, write in a journal, try to keep as many of those memories as you can. And that will really help you, especially in like dark times during midterm season or in final season, be like, oh yeah, I did this, that was really fun. Or, oh, I did this and that was really fun. So I would say definitely go outside of your comfort zone and do all of those things, but also document.
Thank you, Sajida. Can we have Matt?
All right, closing it off. Those are all absolutely excellent points. I love them all. I think for me personally, the biggest thing has been just making sure that school isn't everything. Like, make sure you're getting involved in extracurriculars. Make sure that you are maintaining physical and mental health is super important as well. There's going to be tough weeks, and it's good to have something else other than school to get you through those weeks. It's been my experience.
Thank you, Matt. And to everyone joining us today, thank you so much for being here. I forgot to give my piece of advice about potential students. So to everyone applying or who is interested in engineering or UBC, I would say, try to think about the things you have enjoyed in high school and maybe not, what you've enjoyed and maybe what you've also not enjoyed so much. And then go ahead to our program booths today and speak to our advisors and to learn how UBC addresses those things. Maybe you've lived locally in Canada or elsewhere all your life. Maybe go have a look at our international experiences booths. Are you curious about design teams and co-op? We have representatives here with us today. There's also a women in engineering panel and transfer student session later on today. So thank you so much for listening to us ramble on about how great UBC is. We hope to see you on campus very soon. And I think that's all for us from today. And I'll just pass it back to Erin, who will be on very soon. But for now, we're just going to stop broadcasting for a bit. Thank you for joining us, and goodbye.